Hi, I'm Tim from the Marathon Mates. Welcome to episode number 135. On tonight's episode, we are finally wrapping up our SuperHalfs series of episodes where we've been talking about the SuperHalfs that have been run in Europe. Tonight, we're going to talk about the final two events, the events in Cardiff and Valencia. Over previous weeks, we've talked about the SuperHalfs and how they've developed into an exciting alternative to the world major marathons. And on previous episodes, we've talked about Lisbon, Prague, Berlin, and Copenhagen half marathons. On tonight's show, we'll talk about everything you need to know about the Cardiff and Valencia half marathons, from the expo to the finish line and everything in between. We've got you covered. As you know, we love running and we love sharing our adventures of running around the world. We are the only podcast with 4 7-star world marathon major medalists. And this is the Flying RuNR Podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
It's the Flying RuNR. Run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the Flying RuNR for you and me.
Welcome back. Before we have a laugh and work our way through the Cardiff and Valencia SuperHalfs, let me introduce you to our guests tonight. Well, not guests, they're my co-hosts. Let me introduce you to Tony, Lucia, and of course, Tara. Guys, how have you been and what have you been up to? Let's start with you, Lucia. Let's work clockwise.
Still, it's very humid and hot in Sydney, so weekend of running in humidity, which is not my favourite thing to do, but starting to get the longer distances in, and I had my first official coaching session with Can 2, so that was good. Great bunch of guys running for a great cause, so really good with that. So just, trying to maintain. But, okay, side note, we know I deviate a lot, so you may have remembered, I think it was on last week's episode where I said Harry Styles is going to be in New York when I'm there for the marathon. I wasted 3 mornings. I got up twice at 20 past 5, missed Run Club twice. Once I got up at 20 past 2 to try and get tickets for any 3 of his concerts while I'm in New York. I refused to pay $400 US, $700 US, could not get. Once I had 2 tickets in the basket and they went. So I'm like, not meant to see him. So, other than that, it's been good. And just a couple of reminders that this coming Sunday, the 15th of February, is finally the first new Marathon Run Club, because unfortunately the one in January was cancelled due to the crazy weather we had in Sydney at that time. So I'll be there. So if any of our listeners want to come down and say hi, I'll be there. There'll be some special announcements being made on the day, which will be very exciting. And then I'll be able to share on next week's podcast. And there's going to be a number of giveaways, but you have to register. But I think registrations for this one for February could be a capacity, but still feel free to come down. If you haven't registered, you just won't be eligible for the prizes, but they are going to be advertising the dates on this on their website, so that way people can know when they're on. It's always a fun morning, and plus you get to see me, so really, it's quite good.
There you go.
And that's been my week.
That's been an exciting week, one where everyone was going in the one direction to get those tickets.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Tara, on that note, over to you. How's your week or our week been? I guess I'll go your week. I'll talk about mine later.
I'm not going to encourage any more dad jokes from you, but we did parkrun on Saturday. We went to Zilmere again. Zilmere is not my favourite course to do. It's cross country and it's 2 loops of the same course. But Tim and I ran it together, so we had fun. It was hot, but it wasn't as hot as last time we were there. But it was nice. It was a good surprise. We got to see Jasmine, who we know from Berlin Marathon. She was there, which was lovely. Delia, who is another one of our regular listeners, was tail walker there. And Bill, who is from Sydney, was up, and he was actually at Zilmere Parkrun as well. So that was good. And we also randomly ran into Nigel, who's another regular listener, at Parkrun. So that was really quite lovely to see some of our regular listeners and friends there at the same time. Our long run was Sunday. We did 15Ks. I sort of went out to I'll go somewhere between 15 and 18Ks and just see how I feel. And I think the cooler weather's actually helping my running, because I came in about 10 minutes faster on this 15Ks than I did in the previous weeks. So whether or not it's the cooler weather or I'm just getting fitter, or maybe I just, actually put my feet on and used what I should be doing instead of walking this time. But yeah, it was good. Tony, how's your knee?
Well, yeah, I got a X-ray and an MRI during the week and hope to get the results of that this week. Still not great. It really starts to ache by the end of the day after being on your feet a fair bit. So we'll see what happens. And I just need to know what it is so I know how to treat it. So at the moment, I'm not doing anything, and it feels really lazy not doing anything, Hey, Lucia, I've got the hot tip too. It may not be New York that Harry Styles does, but the hot tip is Chicago, because he's got a 3-day gap somewhere there from someone that knows, right? And as you know, I'm high up in the music industry, so yeah, so that's about it for me. So not much happening, unfortunately, but I will get there. I've got about 6 weeks before my training plan starts, so I might be starting from a very low base. But one of the pleasing things is I don't want to blow up any more than what I have, so my diet's back in check. And I'm starting to drop some weight, so it'd just be nice to get some activity to help me drop a little bit more. But the mindset's still pretty good, but the knee's not. So we'll see how we go.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know that struggle with injury. I was in it last year myself with broken ribs and broken elbow, and it's a tough place to be. Sometimes you just got to trust the process and work your way through it, but you've, I guess, got to find out what it is, and hopefully this week it's good news rather than bad news for you. So fingers crossed for you, Tony. For me, it was another solid week. Pushed through the kilometres, and as I keep talking about, I'm just talking, aiming for consistency at the moment. So consistency over pace, just focusing on getting the same training sessions in every week, focusing on the same sort of distances every week. And just, enjoying myself out there. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll probably start switching up a little bit more and putting some pace into it. But at the moment, life is pretty cruisy for me, or comfortable is probably the better word. Some other news that's going on out there. We've had some feedback from some of our listeners this week. Mark Reeves has been a regular messenger, I guess, Tony, hasn't he? He's put one out saying, another great episode, guys. Really enjoyed listening to you all. It's got me excited for March and my first super half in Prague. A few bits that I didn't know about Copenhagen last week, so thanks for the tips. Can't wait to see what you come up with for Cardiff this week. But please, can you look at a question for me? And his question was, where can I get accommodation in Cardiff for less than £300 on the Saturday night? Well, I'm not sure if I can answer that properly for you, Mark, but I have done a bit of a search around. I've done booking.com, and I found a little place. It's called the Beacon Hotel. It's Cardiff City Centre, apparently, and I'll use the apparently quite loosely there. It is a little bit out of the city centre, but I can get it here for 3 nights over that period for 832 Australian dollars, which is like 30 cents, 30 British pounds or something. It's not very much. So $832 is about £300 for 3 nights. So you're doing all right if you can get that one, but it is a little bit far out. But I did have a look, and there isn't a lot available that's cheap, I must admit, in Cardiff at that time. So Mark, you're on your own for that one. Now, Tony, I think we've had some other messages come through as well from some of our listeners. I think, was it Kay that sent us one as well?
Yes, Kay did. And she's asked the question. She's I noticed when I ran Berlin Marathon this year, there were 2 cutoffs to be mindful of. One was to finish by a certain clock time to get your medal, and a different cutoff time of 6 hours, 15 minutes from your start time to get the Abbott star or to be recognized. Essentially, you could finish the marathon and get your medal, but not a star. And I'm wondering if all the other major marathons have 2 separate cutoffs for medal and star, and what are they? For instance, I know as long as you finish New York Marathon by 10 p.m., you'll get a medal, but do you get your star? And it was a really intriguing question, to be honest. So what we found is that if you're a official finisher of a marathon, like a world major marathon, you will get the star. So, but you've got to be listed as that official finisher, and you've got to find out what that means. So I believe if you finish at 10 o'clock in New York, you would be deemed an official finisher. So you
Yes.
would get the star. So, and I'm not quite sure what, I think London is very similar, but none of this stuff is publicly out there, I guess. But if you're deemed an official finisher and your time comes up when you finish the marathon, you get your little notification by app that says, congratulations, you've finished. I'm guessing you're an official finisher. So,
Yes. Yeah, and usually within 24 hours, you then notice on your Abbott's World Marathon page that there's another star allocated to you and an official time and all the rest of it. So, but yeah, you're right. None of it is officially listed anywhere. I know in Boston in 2024, when we did it, Tara, we had people that finished after the cutoff that still received their 6-star on the day, their 6-star medal. But they aren't considered official finishers because they didn't get an official result because they didn't finish within the cutoff time. So again, it's a little bit tricky, that one, Kay. Now, the other one was Mark from the UK came back again as well, and he's talked a little bit more about Copenhagen Half Marathon. Last week, we had some issues trying to work out and decipher what was going on there this year because they've got the World Marathon Half Marathon Championships on at that stage. So Mark's come back as well saying that it is basically going ahead this year. It is being organised and run by World Athletics rather than by the local organisers, it appears. And there are, I think he said there was 30,000, but they're looking to push it up to about 40,000 runners in Copenhagen this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Obviously, there's a little bit of issue there between the local organisers who've put the race on and built it up over the years, and then obviously the organising committee that has won the right to be able to put on this half marathon. But hopefully it doesn't damage the event and it only enhances it and makes it grow further. It does count as a super half this year as well if you do run it, is what Mark's confirmed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Now the other thing, Tony, I saw that you posted during the week that a park run in the UK, Tord Valley. Tell us about this. They've taken Tord Valley.
I believe this is Mark. So as well. So he's tagged the Flying RuNR on his park run post and also did a bit of a shout out to the Diary of the Flying RuNR. So really appreciative of that. But also he's done what I guess the music was designed for. He's put it as the backing track of his post. So which you can do when you're doing Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. You just do a quick search for Your Pace and Glory and you can choose any of the songs. And there's a 30-second segment that's available for you to play as your backing. So it just helps get the message out. So I'm sure that was Mark. So I think that's his Instagram handle. So Why You Run Fast or something. So, and he's actually a quick runner. He's I think 21 minutes was his time on the weekend. So that's not a bad time, Mark.
No, that is very good. He's in
obviously
training though.
He's obviously a quick runner with a back of the pack mentality because the song he chose was Party at the Back. So thanks, Mark.
All right, that's it. Now we're going to move to the news. Tony, what's been happening around the world this week?
Well, as Tim just went a little rogue on me, and I'm going to go a little rogue on him because he's done a lot of research. And one of the reasons why he's really happy that this is our final segment of the SuperHalfs is because of he's our research guru. So he's really had to research to get all the information around SuperHalfs. So which is awesome for us, but I can just imagine the work that goes. So a big appreciation to Tim. But I found this one interesting. So the World Athletics has denied Jacob Kiplimo's half marathon world record. And the men's half marathon was set by Jacob at last year's Barcelona half marathon. But it's not going to be ratified by World Athletics. It's really interesting because, as we know, Tim does not like drug cheats. We found that out very strongly last week. He does not like, but it's not drugs. It's not assistance, anything that his team have done wrong. It's not illegal super shoes. It's because the lead car was approximately 10 to 15 meters. Sorry, Kiplimo ran approximately 10 to 15 meters behind the lead pace car, which is being deemed illegal assistance from World Athletics. So that's really interesting. The winning time of 56:42, and the previous world record, I think, was 57 minutes. There it is, 57:30, which was at 2024 Valencia Half Marathon. So very interesting. What do you think of that, Tim? No doubt you would have seen that come through.
Yeah, I did. I saw that. He is a well-known runner that's been around for a very long time and has held the world half marathon record before. So as soon as I read it, I knew it wasn't drug cheats. He's been in the system for too long. But yeah, interesting that he was too close to the pace car. I get it. The pace car creates a draft. It also blocks some of the wind and headwinds and things like that. So I could imagine why they have certain rules in there. I just would have thought that the organisers would have known that he was going for a world record, that they would have made sure that the pace car was far enough in front not to impact him, you would have thought. So it seems like it's stuff up to the organisers.
Yeah, it does. It seems like the fault lies with the organisers or the drivers of the pace car. So it's disappointing for Jacob, but I guess rules are the rules. Now, the one that Tim has given me, Japan's Kagawa Marugame.
Marugame. It's easy, that one.
Marugame International Half Marathon stands out as one of the fastest and most competitive halves in the world. And it was held last weekend. If you ran a respective... Now, people aren't going to believe me, but I actually practiced that name before coming on tonight, and I still stuffed it up. But held last weekend. If you ran a respective and quick time of 65 minutes, you would have finished in position 223rd. To put it in perspective, at last year's Valencia Half Marathon, one of the other fastest marathons in the world, and tonight's focus race, you were the 223rd finisher. You would have run the race in 71 minutes. So that's a 6-minute difference. So in Marugame, it feels like a different sport. And let me just share some of the numbers. 25 runners finished under 61 minutes. 74 runners finished under 62 minutes. The 100th finisher clocked 1:02:23. And 341 athletes ran faster than 70 minutes. Unbelievable. But I guess also it just highlights how serious Japan takes their running culture. So, yeah, very, very interesting. And just the last little bit, as we know, the Winter Olympics are on and so Tim's decided to throw in some Winter Olympic torch relay stuff. So it's Winter Olympic time. You may be thinking, why are we talking? Yes, I was thinking that. Why are we talking Winter Olympics? There is a running event that has taken place, and it culminates in the opening ceremony. And of course, we're talking about the torch relay. Now, the total distance, here's just some facts and figures. Total distance, 12,000 kilometres. So the torch relay was conducted over. It took 63 days across Italy, plus there was a Greek leg. Total number of torch bearers was 10,001. Lucia was invited to attend, but she just couldn't get there at this particular
unfortunately.
time.
Yeah.
Countries visited Greece, Italy, and the Vatican City. They started the relay November 26, 6 days after my birthday, and the flame was lit in Olympia, Greece.
Now, Tony, sorry to interrupt, but see, I was kind. I gave my spot to the mayor of Gold Coast because with Brisbane 32 coming up, I thought, do you know what? I'll reach out to him to try and get more stuff for Goldie because that's just the type of person I am.
It was handed over to Italy on December 4th, and the official start of the Italian relay was December 6th. End of the relay was February 6, 2026, which concluded at San Siro Stadium, Milan. So it covered 20 regions of Italy. Provinces visited were all 110 Italian provinces. So I'm not going to go through the rest, but it was designed by somebody, and there was other stuff that Tim's written, but I think those stats were just amazing and blew me away.
Now, just speaking of the Winter Olympics, again, another random question. What's everyone's favourite Winter Olympic sport?
I like the frogmen that do the speed skating around the rink. The long skating. Yeah.
What's the one where they lie down and go down? Is that the luge or something? Yeah,
luge, yeah.
It looks easier than what it obviously is, but any sport that you can lie down in, I think it's got to be a winner.
Tara, what's yours?
I like the luge. Luge is my favourite. I've always liked the luge. But we were watching what they call ice dancing on Friday night, and our daughter had a couple of drinks. And she's like, I could do that. How hard is that? I could do that. It's so easy. She goes, give me 6 months and I'll be there. So maybe I'll change it to ice dancing when she becomes an Olympian and ice dancing after a few more drinks.
Awesome. Tim, that's the news. Over to you.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. Now it's time to talk about the last two super halves. As I said earlier on, over the last couple of weeks, we've really focused on providing information about this 6-race series that covers 6 races across Europe. They're all half marathons, as you can tell. So tonight we're going to be focusing on the last 2 half marathons, the Cardiff Half Marathon and the Valencia Half Marathon. So I'm going to mix things up a little bit. I know in the past, Tony, in the last couple of weeks, you've gone through and talked about the cities and what's going on there. I'm going to hand that over to Tara tonight. We'll follow it up with Lucia in the expos, and then you can do the race, the course report, Tony. So, Tara, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us about the Cardiff Half Marathon.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. So the Cardiff Half Marathon is held on Sunday the 4th of October in 2026. It traditionally occurs on the first Sunday of October. The Cardiff Half Marathon is one of Europe's largest half marathons, and it attracts over 27,500 runners. It is the second largest half marathon in the UK and Wales, biggest road race and charity fundraising event. Now, that did not make sense at all to me, so I do apologise. It is the second largest half marathon in the UK and Wales' biggest road race and charity fundraising event. If I said it the way Tim had written it, it would have been better. All right. Participation over the years has grown from 1,500 runners in 2003 to tens of thousands today. Run by Run for Wales is a non-for-profit sporting trust. So it's got a massive charity impact. It raises over £3 million annually for charities. With the registration, it's had a lot of growth in the last few years. And so with that higher demand, the number of spaces available has sold out the 2025 race in a matter of hours. A ballot has been introduced for the 2026 race to ensure fairness for all. A UK ballot and international ballot operated, ensuring sufficient capacity and a fair allocation of the spaces for home runners and from those overseas looking to complete the SuperHalfs series. It's all drawn at random. It remained open for several weeks up until Sunday the 19th of October, and it gives everyone a chance to give everyone the opportunity to register, and the results were announced on Thursday the 23rd of October. Some of the other stuff that we've got is a well-deserved reputation as one of the United Kingdom's best running events. The Cardiff Half Marathon is a race that is not to be missed. The route takes in all the city's most iconic landmarks, including the Principality Stadium, Cardiff Bay and the Civic Centre and Cardiff Castle. Thousands of spectators turn out to cheer on the runners in a city renowned for its sporting passion. Wales' capital is a city that can be enjoyed by any traveller, no matter what the interest. It's got history, it's modern, it provides, parts of it are modern, it provides entertainment in all forms and theatres, museums and excellent restaurants and monuments, and it won't fail to impress you with its various attractions. Aside from the city itself, it's hard not to be impressed by the famous Welsh hospitality, which sees visitors treated like close friends. As soon as you leave, you'll be counting down the days until you can return, apparently. So apparently some of the things that you can do there is the Wales Millennium Centre. It's an art centre. It embodies Wales down to its foundations and is made exclusively out of local materials. They've got Spillers Records, and it was opened in 1894. Spillers is officially the oldest record store in the world and still stocks a huge range of vinyl. So that would be lovely for Tony, for the old school muso there. We've got Cardiff at Central Market, a truly traditional experience. It's got the Central Market plays host to a variety of stalls since the 18th century. So I'm assuming like food and all of that. Cardiff Castle is dating back to 50 AD, so probably about Tim's age from the sounds of this. Cardiff Castle was remodeled in the 19th century by the hugely wealthy 3rd Marquis of Bute. The extravagant interior reflects this and needs to be seen to be believed. And we've got a national museum, so it houses a huge collection of art, local history, and even some of the archaeological finds, including skeletons of woolly mammoths and dinosaurs. So sounds like a good city.
Thanks, Tara. I am not 2,000 years old. Yeah, you can say that way, 100 kilometres away from where I am. No, that sounds really good. It sounds pretty impressive as a city to me. So I've never been there. I don't know about anyone else. Lucia or Tony, have you been there? I know Tara hasn't.
No.
There you go. Sounds like a place we all need to get to and have a look at this old castle. So Lucia, you love the expos. Tell us about the Cardiff Expo.
Well, the Welsh, as we know, like to do things a little bit differently. It's the term, they don't use the term expo very freely. So they have an event village, and that serves as the expo as such. But to me, if you can buy merch, if you pick up your bib, it's an expo. Simple as that.
100%.
Yeah. So it's held at the Cardiff City Hall lawns, which is fairly central to most things in Cardiff because, let's face it, not the biggest place. So I think anywhere is probably central. And,
including the Beacon Motel. What was it called? Hang on, let me just see it up. The Beacon Hotel Cardiff City Centre. Pretty central to most things except that one.
Minor details there. And just with the race packs, if you're a UK entrant, that will actually get sent to you. So it will include your bib, your chip, and just the general race information. However, if the pack doesn't arrive in time, runners can collect a replacement from the expo. But I think that could be a bit fraught with, I don't know, fraud, or because just say if someone says, oh, my bib didn't arrive, then they could end up with 2 bibs and sell it to someone, just me being the person.
Yeah, but you only get one. You only get one super half result though.
Oh, yeah, true. But hey, as we know, people will run under other people's names in other races. So these days, anything's possible. Now, if you're an international participant, international participants have to pick up their bib in person at the expo. And and what the finisher, so what you get on race day is you get a medal and you get the goodie bag and you get the official, I've never heard of this brand, Oso.
It's a Spanish.
I think it's
It's
I was going
Spanish.
to say UK
It's
brand.
Spanish fitness. Spanish fitness brand. OYSHO.
But for the first time, runners can collect the official event shirt pre-race Friday or Saturday. So I think it's one of those races where you will actually see people running in with the finisher shirt, even though they haven't finished the race, which I still don't get that. And the collection times of the race pack. So on a Friday from 12 till 6, Saturday 8 till 5, and they do also have race day pickup from 7 o'clock. So no one else. So in some of the other super halves we've spoken about, some other people are able to pick up your bib, but unfortunately our Welsh friends don't allow people to pick up don't allow others to pick up bibs for them. And this applies just mainly for people using travel packages, because and this is probably one of the first times I've seen this, when race organisers have said that the broader race rules also emphasise unique medical and emergency contact are connected to each bib, so making bib swiping or third-party collection impossible and strictly prohibited. So it's actually interesting to see that a race is actually saying that. So they do, and the Welsh kind of like to make a party of things. So they do have warm-up sessions from fitness groups, live DJ on a Friday, and Saturday will include the junior races and the Welsh language live band. So depending on how strong their accents are, if you didn't understand them when people are talking to you, you've got Buckley's of trying to understand them when they're singing, but the Welsh are some of the loveliest people there are. And there's also like the standard information and support displays, race marquee, race information, and then international. And then there's booths for international. For the international runners collecting their bibs. So as we said, the major merchandise sponsor, Yoso. So they've got their stuff. They provide the event tee, and then there are also additional partners, so charities, retail, and event sponsors. Now, you may be asking, what do you need to bring to pick up your bib? Well, I'm glad you guys asked, because I'm going to tell you. So you need.
Hey, Lucia, what do you need to bring with you? What do you need to bring with you to pick up your bib?
Let me tell you. So you need proof of registration. So most of the time that will be an email, race number, and ID may be requested, even though it's not certainty that they will ask, but always best to have it with you, especially for international entrants. There is baggage service, and on the race day, it does open at 8:30, which is really good. And the bib colour will indicate the corral you're starting in, and no swapping allowed. So it looks like a small expo than others, but I dare say it's probably going to serve its purpose and will only get bigger as the event grows and as the years go on. So that's the Cardiff Expo.
Thanks, Lucia. It does say that it's held out on the Cardiff Civic City lawns or whatever it is. So suggesting it's an outside one, but I couldn't find any video of it on YouTube when I went looking for it. So I'm not sure if it's an outdoor expo or an indoor one. I would imagine with the weather over there, it's probably indoor, or at least covered with marquees, you would think.
I would agree.
The other one is when you talk about international runners, they are people outside of the United Kingdom, bearing in mind that Wales is its own country, right? It all gets confusing. Anyway, thanks very much, Lucia. Okay, over to you, Tony. How would you not how would you? Please describe the course for the Cardiff Half Marathon.
I'm not going to go into anywhere near the amount of detail that Tim normally does. Tim's normally telling you go east and west and south and north. I know right and left, and that's about it. So if you tell me where north is now, I have got no chance. So it's going to be a little bit simpler. So hopefully it's okay. The Cardiff Half Marathon is known for being fast, flat, and scenic, and it showcases many of Cardiff's most iconic landmarks as runners complete the 13.1 mile loop. So start to Penarth. Now, the race begins outside Cardiff Castle, one of the city's most famous historic sites. They run past Principality Stadium and Cardiff City Stadium as they make their way towards Penarth. Now, from there, they pass through the beautiful Penarth Marina, cross the barrage into Cardiff Bay, one of the most scenic waterfront areas in the UK. And there runners can take in the Norwegian Church and the Wales Millennium Centre. These sites form one of the most photographed sections of the route. The course then turns north towards, oh my God, it's in there in the description. The course then turns north towards the residential areas and loops around the picturesque Roath Park Lake, a tranquil and leafy section ideal for regaining some rhythm before the final miles. And it finishes, the final stretch brings runners back into central Cardiff for a grandstand finish at the Civic Centre, surrounded by white stone buildings and crowds. So it's a loop course, and I reckon it's is this the no, it's the other one we're talking about. Yeah, so it's a loop course, so it's pretty cool. So drink and refreshment stations, the official sources tell us there's no detailed breakdowns of water station locations, but what is confirmed, the race is organised by Run for Wales.
I can tell you, based on previous runs and races, Tony, they have hydration stations at 5 kilometres or just before it, at 6 miles, so that's 10 Ks or just before that. Then again, closer to about 13 or 14 Ks. Then at about 11 miles. They still do things in miles, which is confusing. There's 2 energy drink locations as well. One just before 10 Ks and one just before the 9 mile, which is about 14 Ks. Yeah. And as you said, it is a anti-clockwise loop of the city, but a very scenic loop.
Very much so. Crowds and entertainment, if there's one thing the Cardiff Half is famous for besides being fast, crowd support is amazing. It's a sporting city renowned for its passion, so you get that with thousands of spectators lining the streets. Residents often come out to cheer like it's the opening stage of the Tour de France, it's been described as, so that would be pretty cool. The event village and surrounding areas feature DJ sets, warm-up sessions, and live Welsh language bands, as Luch talked about. So along the course, I think we've described that pretty good, and it's a loop, and it looks pretty cool. That's it.
It does. Yeah, it does look pretty good. It looks like one that looks pretty flat on the profile. There's one hill there at about 3.5 miles, 3 miles that goes up from what would that be? About 15 meters, 10 meters of elevation up to about 40 meters of elevation over a kilometre or so. So there's one hill, and then it starts to incline towards the end there. But again, nothing too serious by the looks of that. So, guys, that looks like a fun one. Anyone interested in doing the Cardiff Half Marathon based on our description?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I've always wanted to visit Wales, so it's a good excuse.
Yeah, more so since you've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, yeah?
That may have something to do with it as well.
We'd have to swing by and see our favourite soccer team. Lucia?
Well, all the super halves interest me, so definitely, yeah. And I've got a good Welsh friend that I haven't seen in a very long time, so very good excuse.
Yeah. And Tony, are you all nodding your head?
Yeah, I think the super halves are definitely on the list there, and I think we had a bit of a chat there yesterday at our marathon mates lunch, and you could probably knock over a couple of them in one visit. You know, there's March seems to have 3 of the events in March, so if you can afford to have the 4 months in Europe, why not knock over 3 of the super halves? So, yeah.
Perfect. All righty. Let's now shift our attention towards the second event that we're talking about and our final half marathon that we'll be talking about, the Valencia Half Marathon. So, Tara, let's hear from you. When's it run? How do you get into it? What's it all about? Talk to us about the Valencia Half Marathon.
Well, I won't be able to do it in the March session with Tony and all the other super halves that he wants to do, because this one's held on the 25th of October. It's part of the Super Half series, obviously, and it regularly appears at the end of October every year. So beginning in 2026, the entry is also by ballot. So these things are obviously becoming so popular that we're just putting everything into a ballot now. It just ensures fairness for everybody. The registration process for 2026, we've got a loyalty window, which is a priority access, 30th of October to the 3rd of November last year, for those who ran it the previous year. So anyone who's run it in 2025 gets early entry or early loyalty window for that. The public ballot opened on the 4th of November, and that remained open for 10 days. And the ballot capacity is 25,000 bibs that are available. So the ballot requirements, applicants must provide their ID, passport number, date of birth, full name and email, and probably give out some DNA as well to prove who you are from the sounds of that that you've got. You can register as a group up to 3 people by submitting their details in at the same time as the ballot entry for you as well. So the Valencia Half Marathon is widely regarded as one of the best and fastest half marathons in the world. Now, I'm assuming we'll hear about the course or the course description later on, but I'm assuming it's going to be on very similar ground to what the Valencia Marathon itself is, and that's why we're looking at such a fast half marathon. It is the world's recognised as one of the world's premier half marathons and the first in Spain to receive the gold label road race distinction. So that's pretty good to get that. There's been multiple world records that have been set on this course. So the women's record was done in 2021 at 1 hour and 2 minutes and 52 seconds. And the men's world record was in 2024 of 57:30. So look, if I could run 10Ks in those times, I'd be happy. So that's a really fast course. Fast, flat and scenic, and it's impeccably organised, which is great. It's a world-class racing atmosphere as well. So Valencia is known as the city of running, which is attracting athletes from all over the globe. And now that obviously relates back to both having a really good marathon and a half marathon. And it's iconic. People, you run past places like the Plaza de Toros, City Hall, and so many other places that are really well known in Valencia. So it would be great to do. Being part of the Super Half series, it just gives you that extra little bit of reasoning to go there. I guess if you're going to be doing Lisbon, Prague, Berlin, Copenhagen, and Cardiff as well. So some of the things that you want to do in Valencia are based on the character of the city. So it's not listed in any of the race documents. Valencia's most iconic modern complex and ties naturally into the city of running identity. It's an emblematic landmark, which also there's lots of landmarks that feature along the race route. There's historic architecture, and one of the highlights that are visible of the course. So a beautiful Art Nouveau train station that runs past, and worth a visit on the course as well. Sorry, I'm missing some of my run sheet, so I do apologise for my mix-up here. Anyway, that is pretty much what we've got there in Valencia.
Yeah. You just were missing all the Spanish words.
I'm actually missing half of my run sheet for some reason. I do not know why. It's come up with just a blank block. Blank box.
There you go. Well, the City of Arts. So the top five things in Valencia, as you're getting to, one is the City of Arts and Sciences. One is the Plaza de Toros, which is where they have bull fighting at some stages. There's the Valencia City Hall, the Estación del Norte, which is a Nouvelle Art train station, which is what you're trying to say, and then the Churia Gardens, the top 5 things to do there. So
Thanks,
it
Tim.
is all good now. The other thing with Valencia, I think it is the only city in the world with 3 gold label events of 3 different distances. So the marathon is a gold label event, the half marathon is a gold label event, and the 10K, which is a separate race and a separate standalone weekend, is also a gold label race. And all 3 of them attract the fastest runners. So it really is a running city in Valencia, and attracts only the fastest and the super fast for the world record. So, Lucia, this expo definitely looks like one that you would like to go to. I've having done the run sheet and looked at it all, it is one that is right up there, I think, with some of the best expos I've seen and heard of. But anyway, let's hear from you on the expo.
Well, another one that likes to do things a little bit different. Can we just do a general call out to race organisers? Just call it an expo, point blank. Our friends in Valencia, the expo is officially known as Expo 21K. Go figure.
Because Expo 42K is taken for the marathon.
Or just call it Expo. Simple.
I mean, get confused. Turn up in the December one for the marathon thinking you're getting a half marathon.
Give over. And Expo 21 kind of reminds me of the World Expo 88, but anyway. So Expo 21 serves as the hub for the bib pickup, goodie bags, sponsored displays, and running related exhibits. The one thing, now this information is based on past years. The expo only runs over 2 days, and they're actually quite generous with their time. So from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, the 23rd and 24th of October. No bib pickup on Sunday, the race day. The expo is held at the Feria Valencia Exhibition Centre, aka Pavilion 5/Expo 21K. But the good thing about Valencia is it's a lot. There's a lot of ways to get there. So they've got ample parking and multiple forms of transport, whether that be the metro, the tram, or the bus. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What do I need to bring with me to get my bib? Well, let me tell you. So the Spanish are a little bit strict. No one is allowed to pick up the bib on your behalf. You have to get it yourself. So Tony, Sharon couldn't pick up your bib because I don't think Sharon would pass as Tony. I'm just putting it out there. And you need the QR code, which is sent prior to the expo opening and sent by the race organisers, and an official identity document, so an ID or passport. And for our listeners in Europe, a lot of countries will have just a national ID card, which is kind of like a lot of people use as passport. So you could use that, but if you don't have a passport, if you're not from Europe, you will need a passport. So just a reminder that bib pickup is only Friday and Saturday, no one else can pick up your bib for you. At Expo 21, you will get your bib, your runner's goodie bag, and identification wristband. So kind of similar as to what a lot of other races have done. Berlin is one that springs to mind. So without the wristband, you can't get into the start area. And in case you're wondering what will I get once I finish the race, you'll get a medal, and then you'll get a race T-shirt, which is picked up at the finish, not prior to the race. So the official name of the event is the Valencia Half Marathon, Trinidad Alfonso Zurich. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Meaning the primary sponsors are, I'm never going to try and pronounce the first word, Trinidad Alfonso, I don't even know, and Zurich Insurance. So these sponsors will obviously try and get bang for their buck and will appear on Expo signage, the race T-shirts, bibs, and all marketing. But good news is they're not the only people there. So there are booths from other major running brands, sport retailers, nutrition, other local races, and other sporting organisations. And there is this would be I think I'd get lost in here. There's a full commercial area with vendors selling shoes, apparel, accessories, tech, nutrition, and recovering tools. But we don't know if there's any like roofing solutions, joining an army, or anything like that. The expo also has talks and presentations, elite athlete presentations, and they're introducing a new zone called La Paseta, which is for conferences and running industry content, which is good. So in case you hadn't worked out, Valencia is a high-energy expo, large dedicated expo space filled with exhibitors, product demos, and a whole bunch of running-related offerings. There's going to be talks, Q&As, and the presentation of elite athletes, which is always cool to watch. And in case you get pictures, don't worry, there is on-site cafeteria. And as I mentioned, it's easy access via public transport, or if you're brave enough to drive in Europe, you can also park in Europe. So they'd like to have a pre-race festival atmosphere, because the vibe is that it's a city of running, which is what Valencia is famous for. So I think it'd be a great day out at the Valencia Expo 21K.
Yep, it does sound good, and it sounds like it's the big dog expo out of all of the super halves. It sounds like it's just the same version of the marathon expo that they have there. So it sounds really impressive, and definitely one I'd like to get to one day. Now, Tony, over to you again for the course description, mate.
Okay, the course is extremely flat, and it's been engineered for speed, and it's ideal for really high elite performances and personal bests. Elevation is minimal. The route is designed to highlight Valencia's architecture, streetscapes, and urban beauty. The course runs through Valencia's energetic city streets in a single 21.1k loop. The interesting thing is it looks like a piece of Strava art. It looks like they've made some changes to this particular course over the years, and it looks like they've created a monster head where it sort of backs in on itself. So it's really quite cool. So what runners see along the course, they're going to see some iconic landmarks and sites, the Plaza de Toros, City Hall, and that there's an Art Novo train station that Tara stumbled over. You're going to run past it. So refreshment stations, what's officially known. The exact number and location is obviously not published. This is in October half marathon. So the course map is known to include water stations and medical aid points, but it's like every major. They're going to be at fairly regular occurrences throughout the race. They've got isotonic drinks, often from sponsors like Coca-Cola or Enovit, as listed as a race sponsor. because it's the same organising body and sponsors operate both the half and the full marathon of Valencia, it's reasonable to expect similar hydration options, but the 2026 half marathon has not published specifics as yet. Official toilet locations are not published, but they will be there. The only available WC location data comes from a marathon course legend. It's not me, showing multiple points at 5.5, 10 and 14.5. But this can't be assumed for the half marathon, but they will be available at the start finish in the event village. Crowds and on-course entertainment. Valencia is known for hosting some of the world's most enthusiastic running crowds. It is known as the city of running. You can expect large, energetic crowds cheering along the entire route. The atmosphere is described as vibrant, bustling, and full of passionate local spectators. It's not formally listed, but you can expect things like music along the route, local culture, and street energy, supportive cheering sections. It starts in the nerve center of the city, the Avenida dels Torongas. It will pass through the historic center, the old Turia riverbed, and the maritime area, offering iconic views of Valencia. The route's, as I said, mainly flat, favouring fast paces, and that's what has earned its international recognition. But I certainly love the Strava art within it, and if that's the current course that we're looking at with what I would consider to be a bit of a monster head on it. The previous course had out and backs all the way through some of the long straight, so it was really interesting to have a look at both of them. But that's what you can expect on the course. I hope I did it justice.
Yep, you did. And just looking at the elevation on the course, a total of 16.7 meters of elevation between. That's the difference between the minimum altitude and the maximum altitude on the course. It's 16.7 meters. So it's not very hilly at all, as you say. So thanks, Tony. That wraps it all up now, guys. So what are your thoughts on Valencia?
I like it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I think I'd be happier doing the Valencia half than doing the Valencia full, just quietly. But
Agreed.
yeah, and looking at the dates, right? If you manage to get into, because most of them are ballots now, let's face it. So you could do Copenhagen, Cardiff, and Valencia in the September to October, so a month in Europe, and then you can go back the next year and go back in March to do Lisbon, Prague, and Berlin. So might be something to aim for. There's something in that, but I guess you've got to get in through the ballot or hope for a sporting company a travel company to do tours there.
I might also need to win the lottery if I need to do that.
Oh yeah,
Minor details.
Minor, yeah.
We might need to reach out and make friends with Oshio or whatever they're called as the apparel sponsor. All right, guys. Well, I'm mindful of time. We're starting to run a bit behind here, so I might wrap it up there. But thank you, everyone. That's a wrap on our Super Half discussions. I hope we've excited our listeners, got the juices flowing for some of our listeners to look at events that are a little bit different, a little bit out there. And a little bit challenging, I guess, to have the 6 races all in one. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up there and now move to that time of the week where we get a tip from Lucia.
Lucia's tip, it stays in my ear. One step closer, the path grows clear. Tim's advice fades like a fleeting breeze. Lucia's wisdom puts my soul at ease.
Lucia, what's your tip this week?
Well, I thought I'd just give people a reminder, while it's still very hot and humid, more in the eastern part of Australia, just some quick tips on how to run in the heat. So make sure you're hydrating well, and taking in fluids the night before a long run if you know it's going to be hot the next day, And also during your run, don't wait until you're thirsty, because if you do, it's too late at that point. And take in sips along the way. Run early or late to avoid running in the middle of the day when it tends to generally be the hottest. Wear lightweight clothes, so therefore it doesn't make you feel even more hot and sweatier. And probably one of the big things, don't forget your sunscreen and a hat just to keep the sun off your head, and sunglasses as well, because the reflection on the ground does bounce into your eyes, as weird as that sounds. But most importantly, listen to your body and slow down if you have to. So that's my tips of the week.
Excellent. Thanks, Lucia. Now we're about to end this episode, but before we do that, Tony, what is on next week's show?
Thanks, Tim. As we know, the new year's commenced and we're getting very close to the very first marathon major of the year. And it's funny, we call this block the spring marathons, even though it's probably because that's the season it is in America. But the first couple of marathons. But we're going to be talking about Tokyo, Tim, in our very next event. With just over 2 weeks to go, many of the participants have already done their long runs. They're coming into some sort of a taper, and they're tapering into that starter's gun. There's a little bit of nerves and anxiety around those strict Tokyo cutoffs. So on next week's episode, we're going to provide you with our top 10 tips for the Tokyo Marathon weekend. Our tips will cover everything from the expo. There's a really good tip there. Don't go. No, sorry.
You have to go.
Yeah, let's hope ASICS have fixed up the expo from our visits, which I believe they have. So, but our tips will cover everything from the expo to the finish line and everything in between, whether it's wanting to know how to get the merch at the expo or how to beat the dreaded cutoffs. We've got you covered. And just another little tip for those people that are doing Tokyo, there will be some new songs released on Monday the 16th, and one of them, and this is the original project that I started working on, there'll be 3 songs. One is around the Tokyo cutoffs, so it's quite a good song. But as we keep saying, we're the only podcast with 4 7-star World Marathon Major finishes, and as usual, it's going to be another great episode and definitely one not to be missed. Back to you, Tim.
Excellent. Thanks, Tony. Well, it's that time of the week where we end the show, and as usual, it's been another fun one. I've actually really enjoyed doing the research and talking about the SuperHalfs over the last 3 weeks, and as we now conclude our first ever 3-part series. So there you go. We've finally done it. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. If you run one or both of the events that we've talked about tonight, why not contact us with a message on Instagram, Facebook, or email us at happyrunning@flyingrunner.com and tell us your thoughts. It may be that you also want to find out some more information on one of the events. We're happy to let you know what we know or what we can find, and we'll provide the feedback as quickly as we can in a timely manner. You may also want to reach out and talk to us a little bit more about what your pace and glory means to you and what it's doing for you on your long runs or wherever you're listening to it. If you want to watch this episode on Spotify and YouTube, you can. There are people that do that. Hello, Brian. I know you're one of our watchers. Wherever it is, whatever you're doing, please listen to us on either YouTube, Spotify, or listen to us on Apple, Amazon, and all major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you on the next time on the Flying RuNR Podcast. Until then, happy running.
Happy running.
Happy running.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me. for you and